Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. So in this video we're going to be covering this bull flag that could be playing out on the HEX price, as well as a fractal that we've been looking at for a while on this channel. We're going to cover both of those and more. So remember, if you liked kind of quantitative and technical hybrid analysis on the HEX charts, leave a thumbs up, be subscribed by the end of the video if you aren't already, and let's go ahead and analyze this bull flag. So historically speaking, we've seen that bull flags are only a good sign for the HEX price because we've had plenty of them. So this is our first one, and I've done my best to outline them. And remember, this is up to the discretion of the analyst how exactly you draw certain bull flags. For example, this move here from March 13th of 2020 to May 13th of 2020 could technically be one move, right? But I decided to, I chose to break it down into these smaller flags because of what could be playing out here, where when you're in the moment over here, it's hard to really, see the future, I guess, and you could draw these bull flags as such, one bull flag here and another one here. But at the end of the day, when you zoom out, you can argue, well, you could have drawn, again, this 2-month move from March to May of 2020 as one large impulse move, right? So again, it's up to the analyst how you actually want to chart this. So just keep that in mind, okay? And the reason I brought that specifically up is because look at where we are now, right? In retrospect, once we actually have this whole move play out, you might say, well, this could have been maybe one big ol' move, assuming something similar happens, right? Assuming we have still room to grow according to certain models. We definitely do. We'll be looking at those as well. But yeah, just to stay on track here, excuse the background noise, that we're just forming another bull flag, man. Like, we've had so many of them. And some of you might be asking, some of you who aren't familiar, like, how come this isn't included in your graph, right? Or in your model of bull flags? Why do you just kind of ignore this? Well, this was a supply shock right here, BigPayDay, right? We had a run up into hype event, then BigPayDay event, supply shock, stock split style event where you actually retain more value than is shown in the charts because of the extra coins you received, anywhere from 30 to 100% depending on how long you were staked. So based on that, it actually might be better to do analysis on the share price, right? On the share price chart, which, now that I think about it, is a great topic idea for a future video. So I'll dedicate a full video to that in the future. So that's why we don't include this in our model, right? And we include it in every other model. So it's only fair that this model we don't, because of what I just said. And nonetheless, we will make a future video on the share price. So without rambling too much on that end, we're on track. We're just forming another pole plus falling parallel channel, and we've seen that in the past, right? You could argue this here was a falling parallel channel or falling wedge. Same here. So we've seen it once, twice, 3 times, 4 times, 5 times, and this is the 6th time, given the way I'm charting it, right? And if we zoom in here and actually look at the high liquidity, the most liquid chart, most liquid pair in the world, which is the USDC pair on Uniswap V2, then you see that, again, we're just on track, right? And we have this characteristic shape that we have our pole and then our falling parallel channel. And so again, we have our pole and our falling parallel channel, in which price has just been more or less, in here. So to the bottom of the channel, started our channel here at the top, came down to the bottom, back up to the top, not necessarily to the bottom, back up to the top, back to the bottom, and now we're at the top of our channel, as you can see right here. And so what is our technical target? Because in the past, if you've been following, right, if you were following, then you remember, I think that's why I had this drawn actually, right? If you remember this bull flag we had back here, let's actually get magnet tool. So this bull flag where we had our pole and then our falling parallel channel, falling wedge, whatever you want to call it, right? Our technical target for this breakout was somewhere in the 3-cent region, right? 3.3 or so. And remember, I told you guys, like in the past, we've had technical targets, like with our September, October 2020 ascending triangle. Our technical target for that was 0.007, but it actually went 2x past that technical target, or a little more, up to the 1.5 penny region. And so for the longest time, before we actually had this move, I was saying on this channel, well, our technical target of 3 cents, we might blast past that. by on something on the order of 2x. And what did we do? Lo and behold, we went and printed again a 2x from our technical target at 6 cents, and we were calling for that. So that's all I'm going to say. We were calling for that. And so what's happening now is we're on track. We have our pole and we have our flag, our falling parallel channel. And so what would be our technical target if we were to break this channel, right? Let's say if we were to break it tomorrow in the next few days, what would be our target? Well, again, it's super easy. All I have to do is take the pole and place it at the point of breakout. So the target definitely depends on where we break out, but assuming we break out tomorrow, then we see that our technical target is about 11.6 pennies, and we are at the top of the channel currently. I remember we tweeted about when we broke this falling parallel channel. It was go time, right? We had a nice little 4x move up. And so even though our technical target is 11.6 pennies, who's to say we don't go above our technical target like we have twice in the past by approximately the same amount, by about a 2x. So if we're being conservative here, 2xing our bull flag target, we're looking at a 20-cent hex in the near future, right? Perhaps next month. So I think 10 to 20 cents is relatively, what's the word, right? It's not super bullish. It's not bearish. It's pretty much what we're on track for, in my opinion, given the current bull flag that's forming. And could we continue forming this bull flag and going into lower prices? 100%, right? We're at the top of the channel. Maybe it doesn't break. Maybe it breaks later, and we just trend in this channel for a while, and then at some point we break. And like I was saying, it totally depends on where we break. That determines our target. So let's say we were to break the flag in early June, then we'd be looking at, again, instead of 11.6 cents, something like 10.8 cents. So nothing too major in difference of like when we break out and what our target is. So you could just say that, you know, as long as this flag has left to stay valid, then if we stay in it and we break to the upside, right, might not, this could still break to the downside. There's a chance. I think it's more unlikely that we do something like this, but nonetheless, everything is still in the cards. The only thing I will say is that I think at any given moment, if we're at the top of the channel, it's more likely to break to the upside. Whereas if we're at the, you know, let's say we come back down here, then I think, okay, there's a higher likelihood we break to the downside. So it's kind of circular, right? Like if we're at the bottom of the channel, it's kind of bearish. If we're at the top, it's kind of bullish. So that's my take on this. I do think this is looking, I think it's looking good. And if you want to be a little extra and grab a little fib retracement here, then we can do that. And we might make an entire video on fib retracements, but we've essentially come back to test the, the 0.5 region or so. So a nice 50% dip, almost. And then here we are now above the 0.618. So I believe if we do retracement on this flag back here, let me show you guys real quick. I think we retrace back to the 382 level, right? Yeah, the 0.382 level back here. So what would the 0.382 level look like if we came back to it on this chart? Well, it would be approximately 3.4 pennies, right? So again, anything can happen. 3.4 pennies would essentially look something like this, and maybe that's literally the bottom, and then we come back, form our bull flag, and then off to the races, 10 cents. So really, it's hard to tell. Short-term moves are very hard to predict. This is obviously a 6-hour chart, but when you zoom out, you see that overall things are up and to the right, and we have a nice daily candle, actually, a nice inside candle right there. So we'll see how that plays out. And if we show you guys the weekly chart before we get to our fractal, then it's also looking pretty good. This weekly candle, albeit red, still has a nice wick to the downside, which indicates a good amount of buy pressure. And this is generally a bullish type of candle. We'll see where it closes at the end of the week. And yeah, I'll keep you updated on this bull flag. In the meantime, let's go ahead and look at our fractal. And so we've covered this in the channel as well multiple times, and I'll leave a link here so you can check out the original video on this fractal to prove that we've been following this since before the actual major move that played out. And it's essentially something like this. You have your cup and handle where you have your cup, your parabolic U shape, your falling parallel channel, I guess you can say, back up to this level, this one level, And once you find support on this one level here on this fractal, it's go time, right? And once we found support, it took us a little longer on the second fractal to find support around the one level, but nonetheless, once we did, it was go time. And we've talked about this idea that we had our run up, a little bit of consolidation before our final last gas kind of move, which actually was still a little over a 2x, almost a 3x, right? And so what would a 2 to 3x put us at from here? Well, we're at 5 cents, right? So 2x 10 cents, 3x 15 cents. So anywhere from 10 to 15 cents if this were to play out. Similarly, this fractal. And again, 10 to 15 cents converges with our bull flag, okay? So converges the models, our fractal converging with our bull flag makes me a little more bullish in thinking that we might actually reach this level of, 10 to 15 penny hex in the near future. So with that said, we have our lookintohex.com. If you haven't checked it out already, for all of those of you who are new, this is a site I built so you can keep track of the charts that no one really else is sharing, including our regression rainbow, our heat maps, our ROI from launch versus Bitcoin and Ethereum respectively. So let's go ahead and update you on the regression rainbow real quick and show you guys where we're at. And again, this fractal is converging with this regression rainbow model as well, where we might see consolidation around the yellow curve for a bit before we actually launch off to a higher level. So lookintohex.com. It's a great website. If you haven't checked it out already, completely free. You can just dabble with these charts. I update these regression rainbow data points every single day after the daily close. So after 6 p.m. PST is when this is updated. As you can tell, we're currently consolidating around yellow, as we have in the past before moving up to higher regions. And again, the argument here is that, well, we could still see further move to the upside. Green, blue, purple, even pink we've reached in the past. So something like green or blue isn't out of the card, especially given our trajectory, which again puts us, reaching green next month would put us at 15 cents. So a lot of models converging here. Let's go ahead and update you with HEX versus Bitcoin ROI from launch. Right on track with Bitcoin. Beautiful. A little ahead of track, actually. And if you look at our HEX versus Ethereum, you see that it's pretty much ahead. Let it load here. Pretty much ahead, right? Pretty much ahead. So, again, and actually I didn't mention this, which is really interesting. I was going to bring this up, is we reached the same level of overvaluation here, 24.2, compared to over here, we reached a 23.5. So we kind of topped out that local top at a very similar region, which is interesting. Now we have 2 data points saying that could be a significant level when we reach about 24x ahead of schedule from Ethereum or from launch respectively. So really interesting actually. But again, nonetheless, it's still an uptrend, as you can tell. This is a nice little bull flag, you could call it, and we're still in an uptrend. So until that changes, we're still in an uptrend. Things are looking bullish. I'll keep you updated on this flag if we break to the upside, downside, if we stay consolidating within it. With that said, make sure to leave a thumbs up if you enjoy this kind of quantitative and technical hybrid analysis on the HEX price. Be subscribed by now if you haven't already. We're almost at 1,800 subscribers, so let's get to 1,800 and then let's blast through that and get to 1,900 subscribers. I do appreciate you watching and your support, so turn the bell on for post notifications. I drop a video every single day if you're interested in that. So with that said, I'll catch you in the next video. Peace.